pull out the deviant, get the crossbow, shoot the head, shoot that. And there we go. We can see the damage that we're racking up right now. I'm at 70,000 damage. So you've all seen my last shrapnel build. Well, in this video, I'm bringing to you a brand new shrapnel build. This shrapnel build is absolutely insane. I'm hitting over 70,000 damage per second. It is really, really strong. I'm absolutely melting bosses and melting enemies. And I think today, you're going to actually put this build into use, and I'm going to go ahead and obviously do a dungeon at the end. Maybe the Leah, maybe something else. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to do. I might actually go ahead and do the PSI because I do need to get a new trouser mod, but we'll go over that in this video. Hopefully you enjoy. Let's jump into the build. I'd also like to mention, if you're not part of the Discord, the link is in the description, as well as the twitch.tv. Come over to the Discord, share your builds, share your thoughts. Let's team up, let's play together. New season is coming soon in just a couple of weeks, and when it does drop, I want to be with as many of you as possible, and let's see together if we can get a 30-person warband and build a city. Link is in the description. Join the Discord. So as we pull up the menu, as you can see, I'm using the Soccer, the Last Valor assault rifle. I'm using the recurve crossbow. I have got the frozen northern pike. I don't actually tend to use a melee. You could use the axe on the melee to get the additional 10% crit chance, but that means you've got to do a heavy strike, then you've got to switch to your crossbow, then you've got to switch to AR. It's too much faffing about. The crossbow AR is long enough because to reload your crossbow takes a while. Then for the armor, you can see I've got the cage helmet, I've got the lone wolf mask, I've got the lone wolf gloves, I've got the Bastille boots, I've got the lone wolf jacket, and I've got the lone wolf pants. So let's start off with the AR, but I think before any of that, as you can see, I'm not in the firing range right now. What are my base stats? That's not my base stats. Let me pull out my AR. Then we can see what my base stats are. Because obviously, depending on what weapon you have in your hand at the time is what your stats are going to be. So you can see here, if I go ahead and pull out my crossbow. If I pull out my crossbow and do the exact same thing, you can see that the base stats have gone down. So pulling back out the AR, do that, and then we can see the stats. So I've got a 51.2% crit rate. I've got 102% crit damage. Remember, this does all go up with all the stuff that I've got on my outfit, but I'll show you the stats afterwards. We got weak spot damage at 0% because before I had quite a lot. Obviously, I've got a weak spot damage bonus, melee damage bonus, status damage bonus, damage bonus to elite enemies 9%, damage bonus to boss enemies 12%, damage bonus against common enemies 16%, and damage bonus to boss enemies again yet another 9%. We've got stability, actually fire rate is at 618 as well. That's quite big. Range 81, magazine capacity currently at 51. We've got mobility 48 and reload speed 65. We've got shrapnel damage bonus 23.6 and shrapnel crit damage bonus 50%. So that means not only are we getting the 102 base, this is before all the other stuff, plus the 50, we're getting 152% crit damage bonus, and then we're getting the additional shrapnel damage bonus on top of that, which is quite big. And then we got the HP, which we're sitting at almost 12,000 HP. Pollution resist, damage reduction 0. Weapon damage reduction, so this is still pretty good for PvP as well. I've got two different items that I can put on, one for PvP, one for PvE. Depends what you want to run with it. I got the damage reduction when deviated status 4% and headshot damage reduction 6.4%. So looking at the weapon, as we can see, this weapon has got a 4% chance to trigger shrapnel with a hit, and crit hits counts as 2 hits. It's got crit hits grant shrapnel trigger chance +1 for 1 second, and the shrapnel crit damage is an additional 30% with this weapon. We pull it up and we open it up. I have got, for instance, the accessories that I'm using is the muzzle, the hammer compensator. The reason I'm using that is just for the accuracy and the stability, because if they're quite far away, we want to be able to target them, make it a little bit easier. The tactical rifle scope, I could go for something with a bit more ADS speed, and everything else. However, I do think giving yourself that extra range gives you a bit more damage at range as well, which I think is really good. I've got the tactical combine grip. Now, I have gone ahead and used all of these, and the ones that do make it easier to shoot targets at a steadier rate from a distance is this one. It has got a little bit less mobility. The aiming speed still obviously improved, and the stability is 22. And then I got the magazine extended rifle magazine. Now, you could actually go ahead and get the light rifle magazine because it does give you more stability and reload speed. However, I'm using the extended rifle because I get an additional 8 bullets in the magazine, and it's really good for DPS numbers, that's for sure. And then the ammo I'm using is the tungsten rifle ammo, just because it's so easy to craft. All you need is gunpowder and tungsten ingots. Then we're going back to the weapon. I've got the shrapnel smash violent on. So a lot of people don't agree with this. They will say the ones that you want to use is probably Obliterate Violent. I don't really have a great role on this for one, but that's not the main reason I'm not using it. The main reason I'm not using it is because using the cage helmet, the triggering shrapnel grants shrapnel crit rate plus 1% for 2 seconds, and the effect can stack up to 2 times, is actually better for me than using Obliterate based on my shrapnel. This, like I said, this is completely different shrapnel build to your typical ones. I've also got a shrapnel souvenir one, which obviously when shrapnel hits a weak spot automatically refills 1 bullet from your inventory, and that's got crit damage and magazine capacity on. This is a really good mod, this one. However, I'm not going for the infinite ammo build. I'm going for most damage build. So we can see here on this one, I've got 9% crit damage, max HP, and weapon damage 6%, which is pretty cool. I mean, do I need the max HP up? No. Weapon damage, having that max is great. And then crit damage 9%. One thing, guys, I want to ask, because I don't know about this. Damage against normal enemies, does that count against players in PvP? Because if it does, then this build is goated for PvP. If it doesn't, then unfortunately, that's a wasted talent. So going back, then I'm using the crossbow. The reason I use the crossbow is because if you look at what it does, on a hit on a weak spot will inflict the bullseye on target, and all weapons will crit rate 30% on targets with the bullseye status for 10 seconds. Effects only works once on the same target within 15 seconds. So like I said, using this crossbow, which is really easy to get, all you need to do is on the map head over to this spot right here, Evergreen, that you can see, and on top of this building in the middle there's a tower, there's a mystical crate, and that's how you get the blueprint for this. And then once you do that, all you want to do is go into your inventory and craft it. We can see exactly where it is. It's right here on the map in between Blackfell and Greywater Camp. So yeah, go and get that, and obviously to craft it you just go into blueprints. It will be orange, the little blueprint puzzle looking icon. You'd hold F to fuse it, and then you'll have the weapon. All you got to do is then go and craft it. So that's that one. Now I don't have a perfect mod for this, because we can see here when a marked enemy is defeated, the bullseye will spread to 1 enemies within 15 meters. Unfortunately, the best version of this, which I do not have, is shooting the enemy creates an extra 8% vulnerability on them. If you have that, great, use it. I don't have that, but if you do have it, then please do use it. It's going to make it a little bit more powerful. Then for the mask, as I said, I've got the caged helmet, and I am using the caged helmet. The reason being is because look at its stat, it's got shrapnel trigger count +1. So with the mod that I'm using on the weapon, we can see trigger shrapnel grants a shrapnel crit rate +1% for 2 seconds, and the effect can stack up to 20 times. Because I've got this, it just constantly gives me more crit chance, because I'm getting trigger counts a lot more with the caged helmet. Going in as well, now a lot of people do use the momentum up. I don't have the greatest of rolls on momentum up, and it does give you fire rate 10% for the first 50% of the magazine plus weapon damage. However, because I'm going down the crit damage, crit rate route, and I want to have more crit to be able to trigger shrapnel more, then I'm using this one, which is the Fateful Strike. It cannot deal weak spot damage, but the crit rate is up by 10% and crit damage is up by 30%. On this roll, I've got crit damage, damage against great ones, head damage reduction, and weapon damage plus 3.6%. So it's a really good roll. It's almost god roll. It'd be better roll if I would have had a legendary variant of it. So I could have had an orange on there, or 2 oranges on there potentially. And then for the mask, I am using the Lone Wolf set. I've got the 4-piece Lone Wolf set. So the Lone Wolf set has got the magazine capacity for having 1 piece, crit rate an extra 5% for having 2 pieces. On 3 pieces, get 1 stack of Lone Wolf, a Lone Shadow, with every 2 weapon crit hits. Lone Shadow crit damage plus 6% for 30 seconds. The effect can stack up to 8 times. And because we've got such high crit chance, we're getting that crit damage up really easy. And then you can see there on number 4, for having 4 items, increases max Lone Shadow stacks to 10 after a kill. Crit rate is an additional 8% for 2 seconds. So we get an additional 8% crit rate after we get a kill, meaning that our crit rate is going from, we're not going to see it right now because my weapon's not in my hand. My crit rate is going to go from 51 up to 60% crit rate, which is pretty goddamn big. And then obviously we can see the crit damage, because we get 6% for 30 seconds. If we get that up to 10 stacks, a 60% extra crit damage on that. So that's 162 plus the shrapnel crit damage bonus. So that's a 212 just from them two things alone, which is really goddamn flipping good. The perk that I've got on the mask is the explosive shrapnel. The 20th shrapnel is explosive and deals 300% damage with guaranteed critical hit, which is massive damage. And the effects that I've got on it is shrapnel damage plus 3.6%. So I'm always getting extra damage with my shrapnel. I've got shrapnel crit damage, an extra 20%. So they're going to be hitting bigger. So even if I'm hitting in the chest, because I don't get weak spot damage from my mask mod, it doesn't matter because I'm getting extra shrapnel crit damage from this alone, which is really good. Damage against great ones and weapon damage reduction. Then for the gloves, I've got the crit boost on. It's got an extra 15% crit rate. Now, I do actually want to change this. I want to be trying to get crit damage here because I'm missing out on 15% potential crit damage on this. So it's not the greatest, but I've got the crit rate, which is obviously really good for the build that I'm going for. But having crit damage here on the attribute effect would be amazing. So I will end up trying to re-roll it to get that. For the boots, now I'm using the Bastille boots. Why am I using the Bastille boots? You can put the Bastille anywhere, really. As long as it's not the helmet, because I've got the cage helmet on. So the reason I'm using Bastille is because you only need one piece, and when your HP is above 70%, weapon damage is increased by 10%. So it's an additional 10% for 30% of your health, which is really, really cool. And then for the perk I've got on it, now I've got taken no damage within 4 seconds, grants 20% melee, weapon, and status damage for 30 seconds. The effect resets when the duration ends. As we can see there, it's got crit damage plus 12%. Damage against elites, but it's got magazine capacity at 12%, weapon damage reduction at 6%. It's a really good roll. If I had more crit damage, an extra 3%, it would be even better. But I can't complain because the magazine capacity does kind of compensate. The only other ones I'd really go for is a slow and steady, but like I said, I haven't got a good roll on slow and steady because you're always getting an extra 10%, and if your health's above 90%, you get an additional 10%. So that's 20% all the time, whereas this, you have to wait 4 seconds to get that 20%, and it's not effective all the time. So this is giving you a guaranteed 10% before the obviously the HP drop. It's giving you additional 20%. This is a pretty cool one, the Secluded Strike, because it's got the having no enemies within 7 meters around you grants 15% weapon and status damage. It's cool, but I still think the slow and steady and the covered advance is probably a little bit better because you're always going to have enemies running at you. So it helps with that. Then moving over, obviously looking at the boot perk, I'm going to go to the body perk. I've currently got the head guard violent on here, so when HP is above 70%, the head area is no longer a weak spot. Got crit damage on that and weapon damage on that. Obviously, I can upgrade it once more and hopefully get more crit damage. This is more of a PvP mod. If you're doing PvE, then you want to go ahead and throw on the critical rescue violent. There might be a better mod. I haven't found one yet. If you know a better mod for the chest, then please do let me know. But yeah, I've got this one on. It's really good for PvE. Damage reduction 20% and healing received plus 20% when HP is below 30%. So it basically pulls you back into the fight, puts you back up to half health, and it reduces the damage you take when you're lower. So it lets you survive that a little bit longer, especially when you're doing the likes of Pro Mode, Leah Labs, solo, quite hard. We've got crit damage on there. We've got status damage reduction on there. Damage against normal enemies, 2%, and magazine capacity, 9.6%. Then last but not least, we are on to the Lone Wolf Pants. And I have only got the dead shot precision. These are really good, but I want dead shot violent. I don't have any better perks for my pants, so unfortunately I've only got this. I want dead shot violent, so I get the crit damage, and I want to try and get weapon damage or magazine capacity. So this is a really bad variant of the dead shot, and I have been trying to get more. As you can see, I've got quite a lot of mods here, but I've not got the one I wanted. But you want to get this. The reason is because each crit hit by non-melee weapons grants 5% critical damage up to 45%, and this effect is removed upon the next reload. So obviously the more bullets you have in the mag, the higher you get that crit damage as well. That's why you want magazine capacity. But it gets your crit damage up, and it's really, really good. But yeah, like I said, I haven't got the greatest of rolls on that. So I think the ultimate thing here, guys, you want to see how this works in action. Well, if I go over to my memetics, my Cradle, and I then show you what I've got on here. I've got the automatic weapon enhancement, which is damage plus 20% when holding SMGs, rifles, or LMGs, and reload 10% of the magazine capacity from reserve upon defeating an enemy, which is really good. So as long as we're killing enemies quite quick, we're getting 10% of our magazine back. As I've got 51 or 55 bullets, I'm getting a constant 6 bullets back, approximately 5 to 6 bullets back. And then we can see here down below, I've got the Master Tactician. The reason I use Master Tactician, because after using a tactical item, damage against Great Ones bosses is plus 25% for 15 seconds. That means literally all you need to have is a throwing knife in your thing, and as long as you throw it, then you can pull your weapon back out, start shooting it, and you're getting an extra 25% damage, 15 seconds. I'm not going to be able to show you that damage boost on the dummy in there, but I definitely will be able to show you it when we're doing the Leah Labs. Going back to the Cradle, I've then got the Deviation Master. Having it fight alongside grants damage 50% against Deviants. And then you've got the Rapid Aid, reduces the cooldown of healing items by minus 30% and increases the healing effect by 15%. So we can constantly heal a little bit quicker. Really good. Stay in the fight obviously longer. And then I've got the Tactical Combo. Weapon damage plus 25% for 4 seconds after switching weapons or reloading. So we're constantly getting, as long as we're going through our magazines pretty quick, or we're switching weapons like we're going from the crossbow to the AR, we get an additional 25% extra damage. Here we've got the status enhancement. After hitting a weak spot, status damage is increased by 25% for 3 seconds. You don't really have anything else better there. And then we've got the deadly combo. After hitting a weak spot with bullet effects, bounce, and shrapnel, bullet effect damage is 25% for 3 seconds. That's pretty cool. And then the last but not least here that we've got is we've got the bullet hunt. So after killing a target with ranged weapon shrapnel damage, 35% for you get an extra 35% shrapnel damage 15 seconds. So yet again, you're not seeing all these damage buffs here. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I would really strongly recommend, if you've got a shrapnel build, make sure you've got yourself a lethal rabbit. How do you get a lethal rabbit? All you need to do is go and hunt bunny rabbits on the shore, skin them, and then you've got a chance of getting a lethal rabbit. Keep doing it until you get one of these. The reason I say is because when you claim it, as you can see, I've got beast meat, deer meat, pork. It collects you loads of meat, which should be enough per day from just having one. And then you want to go up to your best food table. For instance, this one is my best up here. And I want to go to the canned meat. Why? Because used to increase character shrapnel damage by 20%. This works with all of them. However, different meats do give you bonus effects. As you can see, it restores HP. So if you can get these meats, it does increase everything. But just using the beast meat on itself by itself doesn't really give you any buffs. However, if I use the deer meat, for instance, I will get an additional stamina boost, and the pork would give me an additional HP boost, which is really good to know. And it's pretty cool to still put your dinosaur into action. So if you've got a little dinosaur, make sure you go ahead and do so. Right, so I've got that, and we can see now, looking at my food, as soon as I consume some of my tinned meat right now, I got a 30-minute buff on my meat. So that means I'm getting 20% bonus damage. Excuse the car, I can't respawn it unless I remove the floor, and I'm not doing that. Okay, so we just need to do a little bit of setting up. So we can see we're about to run out there of the extra damage bonus, so we just got to wait 4 seconds for that to recharge. Let's quickly build up our AR stacks so we can get that nice and high. Okay, we got the AR stacks high. Pull out the Deviant, get the crossbow, shoot the head, shoot that, and there we go. We can see the damage that we're racking up right now. I'm at 70,000 damage. We go ahead and just shoot a little bit more. Staying around that 60,000 mark. This does a lot of damage. Just these 2 magazines have got me over 1 million damage, which is pretty damn nasty. And then obviously you'll get more damage the more you do. So yeah, that's huge. That's this damage that I'm pulling from this build. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to go and do the Leah Labs solo in this video so you guys can also watch it in action with a 55 round magazine. Let's go. So I've actually decided to switch it up because I need another leg mod. I'm going to go to the Securement Silo PSI on Pro Solo. And that way, I'm doing 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm showing you the build, and I'm also going to get myself a leg mod. If you do hear any backnet round noise, I have got my fan on because here in the UK today, it is extremely flipping hot. And I think without it, anyone would melt and turn into literally a puddle of sweat. So do excuse that if you do hear that noise in the background. But let's run through this dungeon or silo. Let me make sure I've got my knives equipped. Where are you? There we go. I hate them grenade launchers, not gonna lie. We've got the festering gel on as well, so obviously I can be healed, especially when you're running things solo. You want to make sure you can get that healing. That was some awful shooting. Them grenades hit hard. We'll get that away from me. Eee, it got me. No. Lovely. First run through, so I might as well go ahead and grab everything as well. I know there's a little storage container back there, but I can't be asked to actually go all the way back just for that. I'm probably going to come through it a couple more times today trying to get a better mod for the legs, because I'm missing out on that 15 extra % crit damage, which is going to be huge to this build. But I did go ahead and just quickly upgrade, or try and roll a better upgrade on my chest, which was this one, and I actually got the crit damage, so that's a pretty good roll for that. Yet again, if you do think there's something better for the chest, please do let me know, because I'm always down to hear options. I can only go off what I've seen. If there is better options, better mods, then I would like to run them, but unless I know what they are, I can't do so. What's your favourite dungeon in this game? And also, what is your favourite build? Get them snipers out of here. So if you do think I've got terrible aim, I'm mainly a console player. And obviously this game's brought me over to PC, because I flipping love it. This game is incredible, and it is actually a massive shame that this is not on console, because it's really well optimized. And it is just a cool game. Now, they're going to be bringing controller support as of August, so this month. When? We don't know. It's meant to be the 1st, or the 5th, sorry. So is that going to be the controller support? Does that mean then that they'll be set to actually run the game on console? We're probably still a couple of years out before it even reaches console. I'm not too sure what my favourite part about this game is, though. I just like it all. I really like min-maxing. I like looter shooters. Obviously, Division's probably one of my favourite games, and this is just a mix of loads of games together. And Division being one of them, because the looter shooter aspect. I know it's not entirely like it, but I need to get them red face out of here, because the grenade launchers are what do me in. No, I've got no weak spot damage. It doesn't really matter where I hit. And if I hit anywhere else, actually, I do get better crits on the weak spot. So doing what I just did there with this build is not the greatest thing to do. But you can see, obviously, this is pro mode, and I'm breezing through it without really any difficulties whatsoever. I'm wondering what is the best overall build in this game. There must be one that's insane. I think I'm personally swaying towards like the Frost AK, because the Frost AK, you'll be able to just constantly create vortexes, so you have no problems with multiple mobs. And it does like an extra 300% damage when they're in the vortex, which on paper is the most powerful weapon in the game. Oh, where's the door? believe there's a turret still over there that I need to destroy. Or maybe you don't get the turret when you're solo. No, there's no turret when you're solo. Oh, even easier. Nice. Gear crate. Come on, I could get the mod out of this. Purples. In a pro dungeon. Well, we got a mask. Already got the Falcon, but it's a good one if you haven't got it. Because you can get an extra 12% crit damage. Let me go ahead and put this on. Just in case I accidentally do hit something. Like that. It didn't work though. I've just used my livid armor. These are frustrating. Cut back when I can res myself. Right, let's get back off my knees and let's get this thing started again. Right, that's the box I want. Let's quickly just consume one of these. So hopefully it helps. Let's turn these lasers off first. Let's open this gear crate. Now we're going to get an armor mod here. No, we got a piece of armor though, Stormweaver, so we might be able to make some sort of build with that. We're probably going to need more items. What does it actually do? What does it actually have on it? We don't want that one. It is this one. Wait, what is it? Stamina cost, magazine capacity, taking damage. Okay, so it's more of a tank build. We're not into the tank build era yet. Okay, so that doesn't destroy the door. There's nothing really important in there. Oof. I'm not good at these lasers. Right, we are through. The armor is probably going to be absolutely toasted. Right, let's get some heals on. Final boss. So what I do here, guys, is I don't even worry about attacking the shield yet. I go through and destroy all of the generators first. That way I can just have a giant one-off, smash it, get it gone. And I walk around killing most of the ads. So I get rid of all that stress along the way as well, which is a bonus. Well, that tried to electrocute me then. I'm going to need to take out these snipers. Do you hear that? One more generator to hit. Or ice wall, should I say. Sniper on my arse somewhere. Oh, we've hit it. Now we just need to go up and shoot it. Then we are good to destroy the mob by ourselves. There we go. All generators are down. Let's destroy these ads. Oh. Right, let's get this party on the road. Let's chuck that down. Let's throw a knife. And let's start shooting. Now, I would shoot it with the crossbow, but the problem with the crossbow, you can't get like a weak spot hit. So it doesn't really increase the damage. What just hit me? Something just one-shot me. Is there a sniper somewhere? I am not sure what the hell just hit me. But I'm almost certain I just got one shot. There is. Yeah, because they definitely don't one-hit you, them things. Oh, no. Broke my legs. Yeah, I can't get a single red shot. There we go. It's destroyed. Can I get a better leg mod? Please. Give me a better crit one. Also from here, you can get a deviation as well. No. We didn't get one. Oh well. At least you've seen the build, and you've seen me against lasers. Not pretty good. Or not pretty good. Not that great. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.